Hello guys, welcome back, and in today's video I wanted to touch on the new 1.6 character that just came out. Now, this is gonna be they're gonna be really good. This update is gonna be insane. I'm not hyping it up. Maybe I'm downplaying it, right? In terms of value that we're getting from this character, we are eating good. Also, this character GU is probably gonna be 100% insanely broken or busted insane, right? Why? Because she's a true limited. First of all, I'm going to explain what that is in just a second. True limited character, special banner, we'll talk about that, special mechanic in the banner, and she's a mineral DPS. Well, we're going to talk in another video or who and if they are power creeping any character from the current game. And she's a mineral DPS reality. And she, Getian, the other character, and the 5-star Yenisei, they're going to introduce new mechanic to the games that might shake up the meta and create new meta as well, right? So keep that in mind and try to decide if you want all of them or one of these characters at least, because we're gonna go into them, and they even if we don't know exactly, like to the point, to the math, what they do, the general kit still looks insane. Okay, so first of all, GU's banner. GU's banner is a true limited banner, and she is a true limited character, which means that she is special more than the others. She's more special, and she's gonna have extra animations. She's gonna have exclusive animations on certain aspects of the game, such, for example, when you are selecting your characters. And here you see like the portrait here, the art. Her art is gonna be animated here and during the team selection as well. Also, on top of that, she has a new mechanic that we're going to check that. And the banner basically is a normal banner when it comes to PD, so like up to 70, you win or you fail the 50-50. If you fail, you have to go up to another 70. If you're unlucky, up to a total of 140 to guarantee her. But there is a new mechanic added exclusive in this banner, and it's going to be every time you do one pull, they're going to give you one ticket. Once you get to 200 tickets, you're going to be able to exchange them to buy another copy of GU. Now, if you get to 200, it means that you already have one GU, because you only get those tickets during her banner and inside her banner only, and they can only be used during her banner's lifespan. Once the banner goes away, they go away as well. So you want to get to 200. Now, I don't know if you have to or if you can buy something else with less tickets. We don't know that. I'm not sure. But then maybe there's going to be a shop and you can use those tickets to buy something else, maybe some new pools, maybe more pools. On top of that, on this banner, you're going to be able to do one free pool for 10 days in straight. So that's free 10 pool on this banner. Plus, on the update itself, you're also going to get 20 pools from just, I believe it's probably going to be a login bonus, right? So 20 pools, not 14, 20 pools outside of the banner, and then 10 pulls free one by one every day on this banner exclusively, right? So now the PD doesn't transfer and doesn't come from into this banner. This banner has its exclusive PD, starts and dies with this banner, and it doesn't transfer. So you gotta be sure to do whatever you want and get the character or not, or like try some pulls, do whatever you want, but keep in mind that these pulls are gonna be wasted, quote unquote, if you don't get the character. So keep that in mind when you're pulling. Now, I don't know if you need to get 200 pulls, but we'll see about that in the future. I will probably make a follow-up video talking about everything in the patch. Now, for now, we're just checking the characters. This is her appearance on before I2, and this is the appearance on I2. Now, her kit is introduces a new mechanic, right? So she is a wine drinker, I guess. And on her skill 2, skill 1, it does just reality damage, right? She's a reality damage AoE most of the time. Not on skill 1, but deals reality damage. The caster has a wine pulp, consumes an amount to deal extra reality damage per stacks consumed. right? Now, skill 2 within my palms is where you get the new mechanic. And what am I saying? What am I mean? Do I mean by that? The drunk state. The drunk state is what she enters when you cast the skill 2, and it's a state where it sounds like you don't act. Like she is extremely AP friendly at that point. She just acts without using AP, I'm assuming, because it sounds like it, right? At the start of the round, okay, so you get wine pulp and ecstasy, and enter the drunk state. At the start of the round, if the caster is in the drunk state, casts the corresponding rank down another cup on the enemy with the lowest HP. Okay, so she casts the skill 1 automatically, it sounds like, right? With the lowest HP. So she tries to kill the one that has the lowest HP. You could probably control that by dealing more damage to whoever you want to kill first, but yeah. Drunk cannot use skill. Dispelled if the carrier is attacked by ultimates or when struck with effects that has limit actions, like for example, disarm or something, right? Or a silence. No, I think it's just disarm. Yeah, disarm or ultimate or anything else that stuns, for example. Ecstasy, when using down another cup, increase the wine pulp consumption. If insufficient stacks are present, consume all stacks. Now, this is a little confusing, but the gist of it is that she enters a drunk state, which resembles, gameplay-wise, resembles the I3 of Black Dwarf when she automatically casts a card depending on which planet you consume the most. And she's going to do that by default. And you can use it every time you do the self buff, right? Every time you get this card. It's not so that you don't have to trigger it in a weird way. So you can probably spam this and keep this up for a very long time, potentially. But this is a new mechanic that we don't have yet on our team, right? On our roster. So this is a new thing coming up that might create a whole new meta revolving around her. And on the ultimate is just a mass attack, just quote unquote. Deals reality damage, increased damage when less enemies are struck, consumes wine pulp if more than a certain amount is present to increase penetration rate. If not enough wine pulp is present, gain ecstasy and amount of wine pulp. Right, so you can use the ultimate to replenish your wine pulp. If you have enough, you also consume it. Yeah, to increase the penetration rate. And if you don't have enough, then you gain it. Right, so there's gonna be probably a juggling there, thinking like, oh, do I want to do the ultimate now, or do I want to consume the wine pulp first into the drunken state and then do the ult to get it back? Right, there might be that sort of situation there. Now, on top of that, if that wasn't enough, the opponent, that's I1, upon entering combat, gain an amount of wine pulp. When the round ends, gain an amount of wine pulp corresponding to the amount of buffs on allies. Now, this is really important because if it doesn't have a cap, it's probably going to have it, but if it doesn't have a cap, you can probably maximize the hell out of this by using ultra buffer like 6, for example. And this is going to be giving you a ton of wine pulp that plays into the rest of her kit, which is going to be really, really big. On top of that, if she has, at the start of the round, wine pulp, which is most likely going to have, you gain a random buff. Now, I don't know what the pool of buff is. It might be the same as 6 pool of buffs. Maybe they're gonna be new one introduced, but she sounds insane, right? So we're going to talk about if she creeps, power creeps someone out and who that is in a dedicated video. I don't want to talk too much. Now, let's move on into Getian. Getian, besides, can I say something? These character design are really, really cool. I want to pull for all of them. Getian, it looks insane. It looks badass. It looks scary, cool. It looks like scary cool, right? And GU looks really good. And there's also this character that looks pretty good. The second the I2 skin is also really nice. So I am so happy about this. This update is insane. Now I'm hyped, even though we're gonna see it in 6 months. But I'm still hyped. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, see, if you go follow my Twitch, you can randomly pop up on my videos, right? That's crazy. Now, let's go and check Getian. Getian is more of a shamane type of guy. It doesn't power creep shamane, and I will explain that in another video, in my opinion. But He's a bird boy, and he really wants to debuff. Also, on top of that, on his ult, he has a mass debuff. He does like domain expansion, and he introduces one of the first, I think, if not the first, field effect that we have in the game. Like, I don't think in 1.6 enemies might start to do that as well, because it stresses out the mechanic that says that only one of this kind of effect can be present, no matter who casts it, enemy or ally, which makes me think that you could cancel out the enemy's fields by using Getian's ult, right? Sounds really cool. So, and his effect is really strong. Now, he has Eureka, which I don't necessarily like too much. I don't like Eureka, but this might be done correctly, because you're not like reliant on other characters, and the Eureka gain is pretty fair to so far. So he basically debuffs, right? One target attack deals reality damage and inflicts Bone Omen. Bone Omen, it decreases reality death, so it pairs well with Gyu. When the carrier is attacked, it takes extra Genesis damage, right? The Bone Omen is really, really good. Now, skill 2. Now, this is, I was thinking, that's why I wasn't saying anything. The carrier is attack. This might be a little confusing. The carrier of the Bone Omen, like the enemy that you debuffed, it would make sense, right? The carrier of this Bone Omen is going to take extra Genesis damage when they get attacked, right? So this is how you read it, I think. So this is insane. Look at this buff is already crazy, right? So every time you attack them, they take extra Genesis damage. So if you attack them, or if you attack them 3 times, right, they take a lot of Genesis damage. It might be 30% of Getian's attack, but I don't remember what Genesis damage in this case does. It's extra damage, but I don't know what's the scaling, right? Skill 2 is Bone Reader status. This is it's a new mechanic. It does sort of what 37 does, but in his case, it's less reliant on others. It's just like you do the buff and you enter the state. So it's way easier. And basically says that you enter the Bone Reader status and you gain an amount of Eureka. It's probably going to be 1, but if the more the better, because basically at the end of the round, it consumes the amount of Eureka to cast Commandment. Now, if not enough Eureka is present, you consume all stack and dispel when Eureka reaches 0, right? So if you get 0, you go out of the Bone Reader. So you really don't want to enter Bone Reader if you have like 1 Eureka. You could, but you maybe want to wait a little more. Now, the Commandment is a mass attack. Deals reality damage to all enemies with Bone Omen, which are these people, right? This attack does not count as a follow-up attack. 37 Enjoyers, sadly. Another L. And on the ultimate, it opens the domain and gains an amount of Eureka, inflicts Bone Omen on all enemies. So what you want to do is probably going to trigger the ultimate first, and then get into the Bone Reader state. Because now everybody's going to have Bone Omen, and when you consume the Eureka, and at this point you have at least 2 Eurekas to do, and every time it's going to be AP friendly as well during the state. Because you don't have to do anything. It's going to cast it automatically at the end of the round, right? So this is going to be really, really good. And its Domain of Prophecy, which is the new field effect, increases crit damage. And this is a little confusing, so we'll probably go back to this in the future. It's going to be more clear. But it says that it further increases the crit damage for reality damage. So is this a conversion of crit damage? The more reality damage you have, what does reality damage mean, right? Is that your attack? Is that like the damage after some percentage? So we don't know about that. So this might be stronger than we think, right? This might make Lilia really good. We don't know yet. And Insight is also talking about City of Prophecy, which I don't know what this is. It's probably going to be... It's not one of the skill names, so I don't know what this is. It maybe refers to the Domain of Prophecy, and this is regarded as City of Prophecy. While within the domain, it might be, right? Like I'm gonna try to assume that that's what it is. Upon entering combat, while within the domain of prophecy, but no, it's impossible. Well, anyway, I don't know what City of Prophecy is. We'll get into that way later. I make dedicated videos anyway, so we're gonna get a better understanding of what's happening at that point. The Commandment attack increases crit rate and crit damage. Increase damage. When the round starts, inflicts round, not the combat, round starts, inflicts fossilization on a random enemy for an amount of turns. At the end of the round, Getian gains an amount of Eureka if he is within the City of Prophecy. I don't know what City of Prophecy is. It might be the domain, but if it says I'm entering combat while within, you don't cast the domain of prophecy immediately, right? So it's probably something else that we don't know, or maybe it's like a translation error, right? Or it was confused, so they didn't know what to type. Okay, so we'll see about that. But he has a lot of potential so far. And now let's conclude with Yenisei, which is a 5-star, but it's not that bad as you think. Like, she is gonna be really good, and she also applies something new that we didn't have before. So she is a healer. She's a healer, but she can also debuff, right? She applies weakness to the enemy if you play on the card at 2 or 3 level. Now, she has the whole kit revolving around you waiting until you have a level 2 or level 3 card of everything, right? Because if you do that, you're gonna get extra effects. For example, on the skill 1, you get the extra damage dealt, decrease enemy damage dealt. On skill 2, you get the sturdiness. You also heal the ally with the lowest HP. You heal. So basically, it's a one-target heal. It's going to be like 6 does. It's going to ask you which one you want to heal. And after that, that one gets sturdiness. And an extra character which with the lowest HP is going to get healed as well. That's probably less. But since it's a one-target heal, I'm feeling it's going to be a really big heal. So you want to heal the one that is like missing like the mid amount of HP, and then the lowest one is gonna get healed, or vice versa, right? Because the lowest one is gonna get back to full, healed back to full, and the other guy that's now mid is not mid, but it's regarded as lowest, and it's gonna be healed as well. So if you cast it at rank 2-3, you also get the sturdiness on the ally on the lowest HP. Now, on the ultimate, though, you also gain shield and immunity. Immunity is a new addition that she brings, and basically is immune to stats down, negative status, and control statuses, which is the first time that we have it. Nobody had this before. She is the first one that has immunity. Now, on top of that, she also has a mechanic called current. Now, current is a mechanic that she has, and you gain current on her ultimate and on her insight. Upon entering combat, gain an amount of current. Upon using a rank 2-3 debuff incantation, consume an amount of current to gain Moxie. So she can generate Moxie, extra Moxie for herself if you have current and you do a debuff incantation, which is the skill 1. So basically, and then on I3, upon using a healing incantation, consume an amount of current to grant empower incantation to self. So at this point, if you have I3, Yenisei, you can choose if you want to gain Moxie by using the skill 1 and debuff, or if you want to get empower incantation to self, probably 1, consuming 1 current to get 1 empower when you heal. So depending on what you want to do during your turn, what do you need to do? Do you need to heal, or if they're all fine, do you want to do the debuff instead? Regardless of what you choose, you're always gonna be rewarded by either Moxie or Empowered Incantation. Empowered Incantation basically plays back into her whole kit because you really want to cast at least a level 2 incantation on any of your skill, right? So she's probably gonna be really good. Of course, she's a 5-star. So she's probably gonna not heal as much as maybe Tooth Fairy, but she's not power creeping anyone, even though I would argue that in some scenario you might want to run her instead of Tooth Fairy, right? Because Tooth Fairy doesn't give you a lot of mitigation, doesn't give you any mitigation. She's a more offensive healer rather than a conservative healer, like a tanky healer. And she's more of a tanky healer. So she might be used in certain scenario when the debuffs are insane and you need to stop them, or like you need a major mitigation and you need like immunity to stuff because it's very annoying, stuff like that. Because for example, sure, Tooth Fairy can use her ult to dispel if it crits, which is probably a big, which it does most of the time, but that's after, right? So if you get everybody there, if or Tooth Fairy herself gets debuffed and she can't act, now you can't do your ult, right? To dispel it, right? So having her giving you immunity has a lot of value in my opinion, because that makes you able to counter whatever is coming, especially if it's like gonna be for 2 turns. It's gonna be insane. So it's probably not gonna be for 2 turns, because that's gonna be really, really good. We'll see about that. So those are the characters. They are looking really, really, really good. We're gonna talk about them a little more in stream. So if you want to know that, come on stream. That said, I think that's it. Let me know if you want to know more about the character, if you have some questions about it. I will make a follow-up video talking about who they power creep and or who they don't power creep, and you should calm down, right? But that's something that's obvious though, is that they're gonna change your plans for the future. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that as well. So thank you for watching. See you next time.